All right, folks, we're going to ask that again. Everybody stays on mute, engage through the chat. We'll be monitoring the chat and responding to you and filtering up any questions that might come up throughout the webinar. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Patty, for you to introduce yourself and for the topic today. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We are going to talk today about 5 ways to make your donors feel the love before, during, and after Colorado Gives Day. So very quickly, by way of introduction, my name is Patty, and I run the Purpose Collective, which is a digital marketing consulting firm that works almost exclusively with nonprofits. I myself worked in nonprofits for many, many years. Most recently, I worked for a nonprofit that was based in Nepal, and I lived over there for a few years. And so I had this really interesting challenge of how do I get our donors in the US to care about a place that is 8,000 miles away from them, a place they'll never go and people they'll never meet. And all I have to do is the internet. That's my only tool. So I learned a lot about how to write compelling content, whether it's a social media post or a blog post or a video or an email that makes people feel like they are really connected to the work. And that inspired me to start my consulting firm. And I really, really love helping nonprofits connect with their donors and tell their story in a way that makes them feel like they're part of the movement. So that is very central to what we're going to be talking about today. I'm so glad all of you guys are here. If you want to go ahead and pop a few things in the chat, some of you are already doing this, which is great. We'd love to know what organization you work for. We're also curious to know if there's a specific engagement tactic that you're hoping to learn more about today. You can pop that in the chat. I'm seeing some answers come in already. Great. Texting. Also curious, do you have a fundraising campaign coming up next? Is there one that's already on your radar? And, oops, sorry. I guess that was the end of our questions. Thought there was one more. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and take a moment to throw that in the chat. Lots of wonderful organizations that I'm seeing. Again, thank you all for being here. Throughout this presentation, we're going to be encouraging you to throw answers in the chat. So I'm glad to see that all of you guys are eager to respond there already. And yeah, I'm seeing lots of good questions about how do we get donors back who didn't contribute this round. So how do we re-engage lapsed donors? Really great stuff here. How do we engage donors when we're not having a capital campaign? How do we engage volunteers as donors? This is lovely. Great stuff. Prepping for an annual event in June, looking for general tips, trying a mid-year fundraising push this year. Looking to learn about how to approach reaching out to new donors. This is great.
Awesome. And while we won't get to everything today, we will review the chat. And if we can do any follow-up with any nonprofits outside of what we discussed today, just want to reassure you that we're around throughout the year to help you guys. And so is Patty at the Purpose Collective.
Definitely. Okay, so there's a free handout that comes with today's presentation. We are calling it the Gratitude Guide. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different ways to express gratitude to donors today. And we've put together templates for you. So fill in the blank sections, examples for you to use for if you're going to write a handwritten card, here's an example of how to do it. If you're going to call a donor, here's an example of a script you can say. And we will send this out to everyone afterwards, but wanted to make sure that we highlighted that here really quickly. Okay, so let's get started. We firmly believe that there is no better time than right now to start making your donors feel the love. It doesn't matter if they have donated recently or not. I don't think I've ever heard any donor say, this nonprofit is really annoying. They keep thanking me all the time. I believe it's impossible to thank someone too much. So I know that we're in the middle of the month of February. Probably it's been a couple months since we did a really big fundraising push. But this might actually be a lovely time to start reaching out to your donors and just telling them that you think they're great and you really appreciate their support and you couldn't do the work you do without them. And the reason that it's a good idea to do this now or a month from now or any old time you feel like it,
Good
regardless
morning.
of whether it's linked to a fundraising campaign or not, is that when it does come
Hello.
time to ask your donors to give, they're going to be a lot more willing to do so. So when Colorado Gives Day rolls around, if your donors have been thanked all year long and made to feel really appreciated, when you say, hey, it's Colorado Gives Day, we could really use your support, it's going to be a no-brainer for them. And Jordan, did you want to talk about this past webinar?
So just wanted to give a shout out to some of our past webinars if you haven't taken a look. We spent 2 full webinars just talking about how to cultivate and love your donors through different communications and through philanthropic psychology. So how donors are feeling and how you can emulate that. So wanted to just say and link here so you have it in the future that you can reference our past webinars.
Awesome. So there are some studies out there that show, this is one we've linked here from Next After. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with them, but they have this huge database of all different kinds of studies and A/B tests and things they've done to see what works with donors. And they found that they were able to see a 41% increase in online revenue from existing donors if the organization spent 6 months sending additional cultivation emails. So not fundraising emails, not ask emails, just cultivation saying, we appreciate you. Here's the impact you're having. Here's what we're able to accomplish together. A 41% increase in online revenue. I think all of us would love to have a 41% increase in revenue this year. That would be a huge boon to all of our programs. So this is something I want you guys to keep in mind, that it might feel like these thank you efforts are kind of like an extra thing to do and it's not on fire. So like maybe it just keeps getting pushed to the bottom of your to-do list. The fundraising campaign is way more urgent than this. But I do want to emphasize the importance of the thank yous. It's really, really helpful in your fundraising efforts later on. Okay, so our philosophy for success is make everybody, all your donors, feel engaged and appreciated prior to the giving season. So make them feel like you see them, you remember them, and you need them in order to accomplish your goals. This is about them. This is not about us. We're not going to reach out to our donors to tell them how wonderful we are and how important our work is. We are reaching out to them to say how wonderful they are and how important they are to our mission. So we're going to go through our top 5 tactics for how to do that. The first one here is an old school suggestion. Basically, we think it's a great idea to give your donors a call. Get on the phone to just say thank you. This is a really great way for people to feel a more personal connection with your cause. The fact that someone took the time to just reach out to them and say, again, we see you and we appreciate you. And it means a lot to us that you gave. You do not need to ask for more money on this call. You do not need to say anything about what your program is up to next. Just a gratitude touch point. A lot of organizations are not doing this. So if your organization starts doing it, I think you'll really stand out from the rest. There are some ways that you can do this that will hopefully not require a ton of time from you and your team. I know that many nonprofit staffs are already stretched pretty thin. So this could be something that you ask your volunteers to help with, or your board members. You can sort of provide a short little script, just a few sentences, a few talking points. Provide, 5 donors and 5 phone numbers to each board member and ask them to call sometime this month on their schedule. And sort of divide and conquer that way if you're feeling like this is too much effort for you and your team to do on your own. We also recommend, if you have a CRM, to log this call in there as a touch point that happened with that donor. That can be really helpful for you in terms of reporting on who got a phone call and then gave again, who didn't give a phone call and who didn't get a phone call and didn't give again. This kind of data can help you see like, oh, wow, these phone calls are actually really helping with donor retention. We should do more of them. There is a paid tool out there that we really like. It's called Sly Broadcast. I don't know if anyone has ever used this before, but it's basically a tool that lets you send a pre-recorded voicemail message to somebody's phone, to a landline or a cell phone. The way it works is the phone rings for a fraction of a second, not long enough for a person to pick it up, and then a voicemail message is left. This is a really appealing option to a lot of our clients because a lot of people sometimes feel a little bit squeamish about making a phone call. Like they feel like they're like, I don't want to be perceived as a telemarketer. I don't want someone to be annoyed because I interrupted them while they were eating dinner and now they have to talk to me. And the whole point is to make them feel good things about my organization. But if they're annoyed that I just called them and this is not accomplishing my goal. So this tool is actually pretty cool because you're not interrupting anyone, but it does still feel like that personal touch. So you record your voicemail message and send it out to whatever numbers you like. The one thing I would recommend with this tool, it's pretty affordable. It's like 10 cents per voicemail message. The one thing I would recommend is make sure that when you're recording yourself, that you try to sound like you're actually leaving a voicemail message. It's really easy to sometimes think that like, oh, I'm being recorded. Let me sound very stiff and professional. Hello, thank you for your donation to my organization. Like we don't leave voicemail messages that way. So just be cautious of that happening if you do use this tool. But yeah, we've had a lot of really good luck with this. We've had people, you decide what number you want to show up on the caller ID, what number you want to be associated with the voicemail. And we've had a lot of people call back and say, thank you so much. It was really good to hear from you. So this is, again, a paid tool if this feels like a better fit, but there are free ways to do this with your volunteers and your board members. And Jordan, you want to take this part?
Yeah, so when we're considering collecting phone numbers, I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware how to do that through the Colorado Gives platform. So whether you're embedding the donation form on your external website, or whether you're pointing people to your organization page or a campaign, your donation form can be adjusted. There's a built-in question, so you can add phone number and collect phone number. I also wanted to call attention to what we're seeing in the data. When you add the phone number question to your form, make sure that it's not required, because we're seeing that if people are asked for phone number and it's required, some folks don't want to give it. And so they'll opt out or abandon the donation checkout flow. So just some tips there as you're thinking through different fundraising campaigns that you're driving through Colorado Gives, or passively on the embeddable form that you're using on your external website. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I think it's great not to make that required. We always want to make sure we're only calling people who want to hear from us. And if they provide their phone number optionally, it's a pretty good indication that they're open to that. Okay, so number 2, this one's going to sound deceptively simple, write a personalized email. So the key here is that we recommend sending out a plain text email, thanking your donors for their support. So in this world of corporate fancy email blasts that all of us receive multiple times a day, a plain text email can really stand out because it feels casual, it feels personal, it feels like you actually sat down to write this to me, which is touching. And this is a great opportunity to tell your donors why their support matters. You could share a story about the difference their donation has made. We as human beings, our brains are wired for stories. It's how we interpret the world. So anytime we get to read a story, we're really sucked in, especially if there's like a before, during, and after to the story. Here's a problem. Here's how your support allowed us to address this problem. Here's how the world is so much better now that we were able to solve that. This could be an opportunity to tell a story like that, or it could just be a really short and sweet and to the point message saying, hey, you're great. We see you. We appreciate you. Couldn't do this without you. So a nice little fun fact here, a plain text email is 25% more likely to be opened than an HTML style email. So HTML is the fancy one with all the formatting and the images and the button links. I hope most everyone on this call is probably familiar with their email open rates. The industry average for nonprofits for email open rates is about 20 to 30%. So I think all of us would enjoy a little 25% bump in our open rates. That would be a nice improvement. So here's an example of how you could do this. If you want to just create a list of all the supporters that you want to email and divide it up between your team, you can then give each team member a template that looks something like this and ask each team member to fill in the personal details. So this is so short and sweet. Dear so-and-so, I just wanted to write a quick email to let you know how much we appreciate you. Your support means the world to us. What I love most about supporters like you is that you understand how important blank is. You understand how important keeping the arts alive is. You understand how important protecting the environment is. You understand how important educating our next generation of leaders is. Short and sweet. You really get it. Thank you. So quick note I want to make about this email. I want you guys to notice how many times we use the word you in this message. The most important word you can use in any of your marketing is the word you. So this message is not saying, hey, we just wanted to say thank you. Our work is really important. We work really hard over here to make sure that we're delivering results for our donors. We have these successes to our name. We've also done this. Next year, we're planning to do more. So, thanks. That wasn't very you focused. That was all about what we were doing. This message, by comparison, is saying, this is all about you. Your support is so important. What we love about you is that you get it. Thank you. So keep that in mind for all of these gratitude messages. We really want to keep it you focused, not we focused. This is an example of an email that I received from a nonprofit organization after making a donation to them on Giving Tuesday. To this day, I don't know if this message was automated or whether Jody Landers actually sat down and wrote me this message by hand. If it was automated, she fooled me because it looks like Jody emailed me personally. And again, this message is so short. Just want to send a quick note. Thank you. I'm so grateful for your generosity. Your donation is going to help uplift women. Thank you for caring. Please know your support is truly appreciated. This message made such an impression on me that I put it in my PowerPoint presentations now. So just keep in mind that these plain text messages that you could send to your donors are really going to stick with them. They're really going to remember it. It's going to feel like a personal touch. And I bet you if you send it to them out of the blue when they haven't donated recently, it's going to stick with them even more. They're going to feel like you really do remember them.
Hey, Patty, before we move on, I had a great question that's relative to these personalized emails. Someone asked, how do you decide who gets the personalized emails? Is it everyone? Like, where should they start as far as like, should it be major donors? Should it be frequent donors? What is your suggestion for a starting point?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there is a way that you could have your email program like MailChimp send a plain text message out with all the personalization tags in it. If you have a program like that that can do that for you, then I say everybody, every donor ever, because it's just a few clicks of the mouse for you to send that to everyone. If you're going to be doing this more on that like manual, like, okay, we're going to divide and conquer, I'll email a few donors, you'll email a few donors, then it's probably not worth your time to do thousands and thousands of people that way or hundreds and hundreds of people that way. So what I would want to do is probably prioritize people based on the amount they've given. So you could set whatever feels like the right threshold, like, okay, everyone who's given us $500 and above in the last 2 years. You could also say, we really want to reach out to our recurring donors. So everyone who signs up to give monthly, those people are really important to us. So we want to make sure we thank them. You could also say, you know what, this is going to be a new policy that we do from here on out for anybody who's a brand new donor. So we're going to find everybody who gave their very first gift in the last 6 months, and we're going to email all of them this plain text message, and then we're going to make a point quarterly from this point on to do that to all the new donors that come in from here on out. Another favorite category I like to include here is loyal donors. So people who have given to you every year for the past 3 years, for example. But yeah, I hear what you're saying about how, where do we start if there's all these folks? I think as long as you start somewhere and this message goes to some donors, you're better off than you were before. So this slide says, just like I pointed out, if you can have your regular email provider like MailChimp send this out for you, that's the easiest way to do it. Also, if you have an email welcome journey set up, that is an excellent way to make sure that this is happening automatically for every gift that comes in. The first message in that email welcome journey could be a plain text message that's doing this gratitude touch point for you. And Jordan, did you want to talk about these webinars here that are listed?
Yeah, one of which Patty joined us for last year. So I just wanted to call out, if you're still thinking through what an email welcome journey looks like for your organization, we have 3 great webinars, all of which cover different aspects of email series, crafting an email marketing journey for new donors and for all of your donors. So just wanted to shout out again, if you need additional resources, you might find some of what you need in the Colorado Gives library.
Rachel Crawford, I see your hand is raised. Did you want to ask a question?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm curious back with the quick email that you were just discussing. Somebody else asked the question, and I agree. Do you have a recommendation for subject line? What would prompt people to open the email in the first place, please?
Yeah, this subject line was pretty simple. Thank you, Patty. Personalization in the subject line is always a great fit if that's something you're able to do. I think anything that can sound like conversational, sound like something you might actually send to somebody. We have an organization, they're their personality is like, they're pretty fun, they're goofy, they work with young adults, like, so they have an email like this that says like, "You rock, Patty." So anything that feels like it's in line with your brand personality, whether that's something that is a little bit more goofy and fun, or if it's more serious, you know, the subject line could be something that's like, "It means a lot to us to have your support," or like, "We really appreciate you, Patty," or you're going more in the fun direction. It could be things like, "Wow, Patty, you're so awesome." You know, just anything that's going to stand out from the other corporate sounding emails that are inevitably in all of our inboxes. Okay. So I mentioned that MailChimp is a option for sending these plain text emails. You can code your own email template in MailChimp and make it look like it's a true plain text email. You can put your own email signature in there the way it would look for your regular emails. I have this this template for a true plain text email that I'm happy to share with anyone who would like it. So if you use MailChimp and this would be helpful to you, let me know. I can send you this code to copy and paste. Jordan, you want to take this one?
Yeah, and as we're talking about personalization and how to reach out, just wanted to remind everybody that there's ways within the Colorado Gives platform that you should be making updates for people who can access your page year round, as well as for any of your specific campaigns that you're running. So updating your checkout flow. So that means your donation form, which we talked a little bit about, your actual thank you page, so the page that donors land on after the transaction is complete, and then also the receipt. All three of those things you can customize, and I provided an FAQ if anybody wants to reference those. And same with leveraging the real-time reports. So I think Patty, you referenced how to leverage data or specific donation levels or amounts and segment your donors in that way to send out personalized emails. You can access all that information in real time on Colorado Gives. So through the donations report, you can see all of your recurring donors and then a retention report. So celebrate those folks who keep coming back, who are the loyal donors. Even if it's just for Colorado Gives Day, see if you can convert them to a year-round or a recurring donor. And then last thing I'll mention here, just as a reminder for folks, is that you can integrate with the advanced features, which allows you to seamlessly push all this donor data that you get in Colorado Gives to your other systems like Salesforce, MailChimp, or other marketing or CRMs that you might use through Zapier. So just wanted to call out some ways that you can make your life easier and make more customizations through the Colorado Gives platform. All right, thanks, Patty.
Okay, our third suggestion, another old school one, send a handwritten card. So I think it's great if you can mail a delightful, memorable surprise for your donors. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like pretty much every piece of mail I get is like a bill or an account statement or an advertisement for something. So when I see like a handwritten envelope in the mail, it really stands out from the rest. And I get a little burst of joy, like, "Ooh, what is this? I'm going to open this." So I think this is really well received by donors, especially those in the baby boomer generation. Millennials and Gen Z have a certain feeling about paper mail. Baby boomers, in my experience, love it. So I know that's a very philanthropic sector. This could be a really great way to make a good impression on them. And again, this is a way for you to stand out from the crowd. Not a lot of other organizations are doing this. And once again, we want this to be focused on gratitude and expressing our appreciation for their support. So this is you focused. This is not we focused. I see somebody wrote in the chat that Gen Z loves handwritten mail too. Great. Thank you for contributing that. I'm not a member of Gen Z myself, so I appreciate your input. And this is another great opportunity to engage your volunteers or your board members. So if you have an office, if you have a gathering place that you could bring your volunteers into, you could say, you know what, we're going to have one afternoon of card writing. Maybe we'll even have cupcakes or pizza, something to encourage people to come. And again, similar to the phone call, you can provide like a little script, a little example of what to say, and then order a bunch of thank you cards. They don't even need to be anything personalized to your organization, just run-of-the-mill thank you messages. If you have cards that, you know, have your logo on them or something, that's wonderful, but doesn't even need to be that level. And yeah, you could just set up a table and say, all right, here's our list of all the donors that we want to thank. We talked about this a little bit earlier about who could be on that list. You know, is it everybody? Is that list too large? Should we make it smaller, just people who have given in the last year? Should we make it even smaller than that by saying you have to have given recently and have a certain frequency or a certain amount that you gave? That's up to you to decide. But you can create a list, divide it up and say, okay, we have 10 volunteers writing 50 cards each. That's 500 people that you can cover in one afternoon. This is also a great task to recruit your board members to help with. I know that a lot of organizations will often mail a stack of thank you cards, a list of donors, and a package of stamps. Just mail it out to board members and say, okay, here's your task. I need you to fill these cards in, and I'd love if you could do it by the end of March, and drop them in the mail and let me know when it's done. This, again, can really help you stand out from the crowd. I also think it's a nice way to make your board members feel like they're contributing to your organization in a really meaningful way. For those of you with the budget for something like this, you can get some help from the robots. So there is a program called Handwritten. They actually created these machines, these robots that hold pens and write messages in handwriting. So it is an actual card that like you can tell was written with a pen. And you can send your notes out in this method. This is what one of them would look like, for example. I can't remember the cost off the top of my head. I think this might be anywhere from like $3 to $5 per card. So I don't know if this is something that feels like it's worth the money to you. It might be a nice thing to sort of incorporate for any of your major donors moving forward. You're just going to send them a card through Handwritten because it's worth buying your time back by paying for this service. But yeah, something to keep in mind. Before we go to this one, actually, I think I saw a question about how frequently we should be sending these thank yous. Ideally, we would want to thank people immediately after they make a donation. I don't think there is a wrong time to thank someone, though. So let's say you got a big influx of donations last Colorado Gives Day, and it continued through the year-end giving season. I don't think you've missed your window of opportunity for some of these touch points if you were to start now or even 2 months from now. Again, I think we just want to make sure that our donors know how much they matter to us throughout the year. What we really don't want is for them to only hear from us when we want money from them. So the more we can create these gratitude touch points throughout the year, the better. I don't think there's not a wrong time to do this. And there's a rule of thumb, I don't know if you guys have heard this, that for every ask touch point, there should be 7 non-ask touch points. So these can sort of help fill in that that requirement of 7. Warren, did you have a question? No.
I don't know how that hand got raised.
Oh, okay.
Lower.
Okay, so the 4th tip is to record a video update. And this is ideally a personalized video. So if there is a way that you can just record a short video highlighting the impact that someone, their contribution has made with your organization, that would be lovely. It does not need to be professionally produced. It does not need to be edited. Short, candid, it could be a selfie video from your phone, something that is really, really easy to throw together is all that's needed here. Ideally, this would also be a video where you're saying the donor's name, where that personalization is there. So quick video where it's like, hey, Patty, I just want to take a minute to tell you how much we appreciate you and your support over here at X organization. We really love how much you care about the work we do here, and we appreciate you. Minute long, send it off. Super, super simple. So the way that we recommend doing this, very similar to some of the other efforts, divide and conquer. So this is probably a better task for your team members than it is for board members or volunteers, but depends on the organization. This might be a great fit for board members and volunteers, depending on what you do. But yeah, give each team member a list of the videos you want them to create. So what's the name that you want them to say? And have them upload these videos to YouTube as an unlisted video. So there's 3 options when you're saving videos to your YouTube channel: private, unlisted, or public. So an unlisted video means someone has to have the exact URL to ever watch the video. So you can email your supporter a URL of that video and only they will see it. So ideally, this is a video that's only going to get like 2 views on YouTube, but that's okay. That's what we want. Jordan, you want to take this one?
Yeah. And so while we're chatting about videos and YouTube, just wanted to call out that on your Colorado Gives pages, in the About section, so on your organization page and any fundraiser pages you create, as well as the thank you page, you can drop in a link from Vimeo or from YouTube, and you can actually have that video autoplay. So someone going to your organization page on Colorado Gives can experience an autoplay video if you have one available. Similarly, you can add a thank you video to their thank you experience as they check out. So just some great ways through Colorado Gives that you can make that experience more personalized. And I love and feel so giddy. I know when I give and I get something personal back, like a video from the ED or from the team or from volunteers. So I definitely encourage you guys to consider how you can activate this piece.
Definitely. So unfortunately, I don't think you guys are gonna be able to hear this video. Can't hear it yet. This video was created by the organization that I used to work for in Nepal. I wish you could hear it because you could tell that it's being filmed at a school and there's like children screaming in the background. And it was so quick. Like I just said one sentence and that video is over. This is exactly the type of video that you can share with your supporters. If you're lucky to work with really cute kids, you can throw them in the video if you want, but that is not required. The video started off by saying the donor's name. Hi, James. We just wanted to say thank you so much for your support. You'll all be able to watch this video with sound on when we share this with you later. But it is not professionally done. It is so short. The sound is terrible, but the personalization is there, and that's what matters. Now it's just going to keep playing forever. Okay, so there is another paid tool out there if you would prefer to use it. It's called ThankView. I don't know if anyone here has ever used this. And sorry, quick question. Yes, that last video was shared on YouTube. So ThankView is a tool that is designed to help you record these personalized videos. It's a bit shinier and a lot easier to use than sort of sending out a list of donors to make videos for to all your team members and having your team members send you YouTube links back or send you files back. It basically gives you a dashboard where you can make those assignments. And then it allows you to email the donor directly from the dashboard as well. So once you have the video uploaded to ThankView, you can send it out to the person who it was intended for. I think it's a really easy to use platform. It helps centralize things for sure. I also think it's possible that you could just sign up for ThankView for like a month or two, send a bunch of videos out to all your donors, and then cancel your subscription if cost is a concern for your organization. So something to consider. Okay, the fifth option here is to mail a Thanksgiving postcard. So we are calling this a Thanksgiving postcard. We're specifically saying this is a great thing to send on Thanksgiving holiday in November each year. But you could do this anytime. You could send a thankful postcard in July if you wanted to. It doesn't necessarily need to be tied to a particular holiday. But the point of doing this around Thanksgiving is that you're going to get into your supporters' mailboxes before all of the other direct mail appeals of the holiday giving season begin. So you're getting that gratitude touch point in right before you're about to ask them for money. And again, since this is not an ask, we're hoping that it is received the way we want it to be, as just a nice, touching point of gratitude, nice gesture to show our appreciation. I see someone sends Valentine postcards every year. I love that. There's lots of different ways you could incorporate this. And I feel like we've already seen this in the chat that everyone agrees with this. 64% of people say that greeting cards make them feel special. We all love getting that nice touch point in the mail. So how to do this? This is another thing that we could rely on volunteers for or board members for. Send them a stack of postcards, have them fill them out, put the address in, put the stamp on, drop it in the mail. This is an example of a postcard that one of our clients sends out. And I don't know if everyone is aware of this, but if you use MailChimp, MailChimp will actually do this for you. They have a postcard service where they will print the postcard, put the stamp on it, and drop it in the mail for you. It costs about $1 per postcard. So this is something that you can sort of automate this in MailChimp if you wanted to. So you could just do a one-time, it's Thanksgiving, boom, let's send all these postcards out. Or you could say, you know what, every time someone joins our email list or every time someone makes a donation, we're going to have MailChimp send them a postcard thanking them and welcoming them to the community. This is another way you can sort of just automate these touch points so that your donors are feeling thanked and feeling the gratitude from you, but it's not taking up a ton of your time. I love it. Someone also suggested St. Patrick's Day as a time to send a postcard. Yeah, Arbor Day, whatever you want, send a postcard. All right, Jordan, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, and I love the ideas. Obviously Valentine's Day, but yeah, St. Patrick's Day, Arbor's Day, any touch point that makes a donor feel good, I think is a great excuse to fill in those times in between a donation ask. So with all that, wanted to just call attention to, we've been talking a lot about MailChimp as one of many CRMs that you guys might be using. And again, wanted to just call attention to the fact that it is an integration that's built in to Colorado Gives. So you could go in today, click a couple buttons, and have your donor data be moving into MailChimp from Colorado Gives. And so we have a number of great videos here that I've linked if you want to explore integrations as well as some of the other advanced features. So just wanted to call attention to that for those of you that are interested in more seamlessly moving your data between systems for things like these postcards. And then I think I had one more slide here, just a call out for folks as we're thinking about all of these donor retention tactics. So if you are sending postcards, we've heard, and I've heard from a lot of nonprofits, that it's really successful, depending on the type of postcard, to potentially have a QR code. And so obviously not every postcard is going to be an ask, but for postcards where you're talking about a new campaign, a new program, a capital campaign, a new initiative, you can connect a QR code to your fundraiser page on Colorado Gives and allow them to make a one-time or recurring gift. So just wanted to connect some dots there for you guys as you're thinking about what you might send out and what different postcards might look like. So QR codes are back, everybody. And here are some resources if you'd like to use them in the future and for events. All right.
Okay, so in summary, these are the 5 strategies for showing your donors some extra love. Giving them a call, sending them a personalized plain text email, sending a handwritten card, recording a video update, and mailing a Thanksgiving postcard. I saw a great question in the chat about the video updates. How do you keep your energy up while recording several personalized videos and keep them all upbeat and excited? Great question. I have found that I think it's easier to do all these videos in batches. So to say, like, today is our video day. Everyone on the team knows it's the video day. Everyone is prepared for it. And we're all just going to record 20, 30, 40 videos, whatever we decide. I think it can help you sort of get into a rhythm of, you know what you're saying. And as you go along, I think you get better at saying it, and you get better at, like, you just get into a rhythm of, like, we're thanking you. All right. And next we're thanking you. Okay. And next we're thanking you. I think that if this were something that you were doing sort of like on an ongoing basis, like every Friday, you're supposed to record some thank you videos for your donors. I wonder if that might feel like a little bit more of a slog, where it's like, ugh, every week I have to do this again and again and again and again, as opposed to just one day, once or twice a year, where you just knock it all out in a few hours. But everybody's different. So whatever system works for you, I recommend trying out a few different things and seeing what feels like a good fit. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. I would love to hear from whoever has questions. What's working for you? What doubts do you have about these strategies that we've been talking about? Feel free to raise your hand or throw a question in the chat. Phyllis, what is your question?
Hi, everybody. No question, just a comment. Colorado 1000. So I find that what works great for our organization is we have very special donors that continuously give throughout the year. And we actually video them, the donor. And we put them on a quick 1 to 2 minute video, and I place them on our social marketing platforms and our websites. They love being seen on the videos, and they use those videos and send them out to their friends and their clients to let them know, hey, this is the organization I give to. And basically it's a quick, hey, tell us about who you are, what your business is, and why do you give to Colorado 1000? You know, what makes CO1000.org special for you? And we find that works really nicely, and they get involved that way.
That's great. Thank you. I also see in the chat that Colleen says, I get compliments on our phone calls and handwritten notes all the time. The donors really appreciate it. That's great to hear. I'm glad to hear this is working for you. Someone else said something earlier about how they really love writing the handwritten cards because it puts us in a mindset of gratitude, and it feels really good to just go thank everyone, send all these cards out. So that's another thing to consider. It's good for us and it's good for the donor.
I see
Okay.
Kara has a question about e-newsletters, which kind of, maybe she should join us next month because we'll be talking about that exact thing. But I thought she had a good question here about maybe listing donors or shouting out to them in the newsletters.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with this. I think one thing we want to be careful of is donor privacy. So we want to make sure that we would have permission from the donors to do that. I know some people are sort of concerned that if their name is listed, they're going to get hit up by a bunch of other organizations. So I think we want to make sure that they opt into this. And I guess I'm of two minds about this. One, I want all of your newsletters and everything to be very you focused. So if you're sending me an email that has a bunch of names that are not me, I could see the reaction being like, this isn't relevant to me. What do I care? At the same time, I could see it sort of presenting this feeling of like, look at this fun club that all these people belong to. Don't you want to be a part of this too? Look, we have all these monthly givers. You could be a monthly giver. So I think it's probably worth something, it's worth experimenting with and seeing how it's received. But yeah, we want to make sure that if you do include that list of names, there is some sort of you-focused element in there, like we'd love to see your name here too. Here's how you can become a monthly donor, something like that. Love to see that other people have done thank you videos and they were really well received, including the point of view of someone who benefited from your services. That's a great angle to take on those videos, on storytelling as well. That's lovely. Someone just completed a thank-a-thon. That's
Thank-a-thon.
awesome.
I love that. I was just reading that as well.
And yeah, that's great. Jamie says that they make a personal phone call to all donors who donate $100 or more, and hearing why they donate to our nonprofit is pretty amazing. That's a great question to ask on those calls, because that is a you-focused question. Like, we want to learn more about you. What is it that drives your support for this organization? People love to talk about themselves, and that can provide some really great insight for you about what brings donors in. I'm just looking through all these other questions.
Yeah, there's
lots of good ones coming in. Any suggestions on building a monthly donor base, or is that a separate discussion? I think that this gratitude plan can definitely be an important part of building a monthly donor program. If you have thanked your donors many, many times, following up again to say, hey, by the way, would you like to join our monthly giving program, could be a really nice, it could flow really well after that. Like, hey, we see you, we remember you, we know that you love to support our organization. We thought you might be a good fit for our monthly giving program. What do you think? I think that can be a really good basis for growing that monthly giving program. I'm going to keep answering questions, but I know some people have to sort of trickle out for other meetings. I do really want to quickly mention that we offer something called free office hours here at the Purpose Collective. This is an opportunity where you can sign up for an hour with one of us one-on-one. It's every Monday afternoon. And you can ask us whatever you want for an hour. So it's an hour of free advice, our undivided attention. So you could say, hey, we put together this script for the thank you phone calls we want to make, and we put together this sample for the handwritten cards we want to send out. Will you give us feedback on it? What do you think? Or you could spend an hour with us saying, we're looking for a new CRM. Which one should we go with? What do you think? Or this is our current CRM and I'm confused about how to do this process. Can you show me in this hour how to do the things that I want to do? However you want to use that hour, it is your time and we are here as a resource to you. And back to the questions.
Yeah, should we take one more before we sign off? Everybody's saying thank you, thank you, thank you. I agree. That was awesome, Patty. Was there one more question that you thought might be good to answer?
I am looking through them now. Did anyone of them jump out at you, Jordan? There's so many great questions in here.
A specific scenario of employing a donor gratitude tactic in your career that yielded great results. So is there anything that you tried in your nonprofit career, thank you wise, that you saw yield really great results?
Yeah, so I one of my clients, we created a list of I think it was just like 15 people who were potential major donors for this organization. So they'd given a significant amount of money already. I think we might have even well screened a few of them and it showed they had the potential to give more. And we just took this list of 15. We used that pre-recorded voicemail message. This is an animal sanctuary. And so we had the executive director send out a pre-recorded voicemail to all 15 people saying, hey, I really appreciate your support. We have some babies that are going to be born soon. We'd love to offer you the opportunity to name one of them. Let me know what you think. And we sent a plain text email at the same time that said, hey, I just gave you a call today, but I wanted to send you a quick message that says, you know, a baby is going to be born in the next month. We'd love to give you the honor of naming it. And the response to that was so overwhelmingly positive. He got a ton of calls back. He got a ton of donations, even though he was not asking for money. It was just a lovely touch point of saying, we appreciate you and we want to give you this connection to the animals here. We want to give you this opportunity to name a baby. And it was really, really well received. And that was just 15 people.
I love that. And I love the idea of the phone call or the voicemail, I should say, followed by that plain text email. I feel like that really will highlight it for whatever subgroup you're trying to reach out to. Well, this has been awesome. As you can see in the chat, everybody else agrees. Patty, thank you so much for bringing all your ideas and knowledge to us today. And if you guys haven't yet, we're bringing her back for next month's webinar. We're going to be talking about newsletters and how you can improve them and what to avoid. So Patty, thank you very much. Make sure you take her up on your free office hours, and we'll be sharing everything after within the next couple of days with everybody as far as slide deck and recording. So thanks all.